The Action and Implementation Plan (AIP) will ensure Sarawak to achieve its aspirations to be a developed state, as outlined in the Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy (PCDS) 2030. Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg is confident that the state is able to achieve its objective as it charts its way to become a high-income state.
I am confident that we can deliver the development objectives of the plan as we have clear, measurable outcomes for the initiatives and action steps to achieve the goals laid out in AIP.
He said this during the launch of the Action and Implementation Plan (AIP) for Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy (PCDS) 2030 in Kuching.
The AIP of the ministries and the departments and agencies under them will give greater transparency and accountability, because what gets measured gets done according to specification, time and resources.
Other than that, the Chief Minister noted an inclusive effort for a dynamic economy. The Sarawak Economic Action Council will do its part in urging state government bodies to be more proactive to include private sectors in every development plan made, acknowledging that the state economy growth would be sedate without the presence and support of the private sector. Under the 12th Malaysia Plan, the state government has allocated 63 billion ringgit to implement people-based initiatives through PCDS 2030 in its first phase, exceeding the total allocation meant for federal projects in this state. Meanwhile, Abang Jo says the state will implement direct links with regional retailers, tapping on the global agricultural supply chain, and at the same time building a direct supplier model in the agro sector.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has exposed weaknesses of global supply chain, of which efficiency and resilience are important components of supply chain industry. And we shall position Sarawak as a key supplier to its regional neighbors and globally as the world looks to rebalance and diversify supply chains.
Low to middle income households who are keen to purchase their own first house now have the opportunity thanks to the Housing Deposit Assistance Scheme, HDAS. The latest initiative, launched by the Sarawak government today, offers a maximum 10,000 ringgit deposit, benefiting a total of 1,200 applicants from B40 and M40 groups who couldn't afford or have sufficient savings.
Satu lagi ialah dia tak payah bayar balik. That one is daripada ikhlas daripada kerajaan 10,000 dan akan diuruskan hanya melalui Mutiara Mortgage. Kerana kerajaan akan memperuntukkan wang tersebut kepada Mutiara dan Mortgage, dan kalau pemohon nak membeli rumah, mereka memohon pembiayaan dari Mutiara Mortgage, automatically 10,000 dimasuk dalam akaunnya sebagai deposit.
During the launch held in Kuching on Monday, the Chief Minister said the scheme would be managed by Mutiara Mortgage and Credit Sdn Bhd Mutiara, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Housing Development Corporation (HDC), in which a sum of 10 million ringgit has been allocated for the scheme this year, with the amount expected to increase based on the future needs. Abang Jo said the assistance would also be extended to those who wish to build houses on their own land.
Milikan tanah mestilah tanah yang diperuntukkan oleh Jabatan Tanah dan Survey di bawah skim pembesaran kampung SPK dan skim penempatan semula SPS. Bagi inisiatif membina rumah di atas tanah sendiri, Mutiara Mortgage akan memperkenalkan program Rumah Spektra Mutiara, di mana kos pembinaan rumah akan dibiayai oleh Mutiara Mortgage melalui produk Mutiara Dream Home Financing Scheme, iaitu MDHFS.
Other assistance schemes will be made available in urban areas.
Pentadbiran saya juga telah memperkenalkan Sarawak Rental Assistance Scheme, SRAS, iaitu skim bantuan sewa kediaman sebanyak 200 sebulan selama 36 bulan. SRAS kini dibuka kepada mereka yang kini menyewa di sekitar Bandar Kuching, Sibu, Bintulu dan Miri.
Therefore, he called upon the eligible Sarawakian to grab this opportunity to one day own a comfortable, affordable and quality house. Sarawak is the first state in Malaysia to offer the housing deposit assistance dedicated for first-time homeowners under the B40 and M40 categories. Most of the eligible public expressed their gratitude of the said scheme. In fact, they also hope that the assistance will continue benefiting the people.
Sebagai rakyat Sarawak lah, sudah tentu peringkat kami, peringkat muda lah, berasa gembira lah kerana memberi manfaat kepada khususnya kepada golongan muda lah di orang-orang Sarawak lah.
Kami rasanya sangat bagus dan bersyukur lah sebab ada gerankan yang dibagi oleh kerajaan Sarawak kepada golongan muda. Kita tahu kan golongan muda dia orang tak macam belum ada simpanan. Jadi yang 10K yang kerajaan bagi tu memang sesuatu yang sangat dihargai lah untuk mereka memulakan macam membina atau membeli rumah baru.
Dengan adanya bantuan daripada kerajaan berkenaan dengan inisiatif skim perumahan tu, secara langsung yang boleh membantu golongan belia pada hari itu lah, terutama kepada golongan belia yang baru start bekerja. Jadi secara langsung ia meringankan beban para orang muda untuk membeli rumah di masa akan datang lah. And then in terms of kita nak mula pembayaran pun akan boleh dikurangkan dengan kadar segera lah.
Diharapkan dalam masa depan kerajaan Sarawak akan tambah lagi supaya rakyat dia semua dalam itulah keadaan yang senang lah untuk rakyat di sendiri.
Despite the increase of cost in clean water treatment production, the price of clean water supply to the rural areas will remain the same at 44 cents per cubic meter. The cost of clean water production recorded by the Rural Water Supply Department, JEBAP, has increased from RM1.28 per cubic meter in 2020 to RM1.58 last year.
Maknanya ada balance lebih 84 sen ataupun lebih adalah subsidi yang ditanggung oleh Kerajaan Sarawak. Jadi secara puratanya, setahun Kerajaan Sarawak memberi subsidi 150 juta untuk bekalan air kepada para pengguna di kawasan di bawah jagaan JEBAP, di kawasan luar bandar. 150 juta bersamaan dengan RM400,000 sehari subsidi yang dikeluarkan oleh Kerajaan Sarawak.
July, he says, among the challenges faced to supply clean water is the lack of workforce to complete the water supply project as scheduled.
Kita mempunyai kekurangan dari segi tenaga kerja lah. Tenaga kerja yang menjadi halangan untuk kita menyiapkan projek ya, seperti yang dijadualkan. Jadi seperti juga projek-projek lain, ianya menjadi kekangan kepada siapnya projek berdasarkan jadual yang telah ditetapkan. Tetapi walaupun kita mempunyai halangan dari segi tenaga pekerja, tetapi projek itu tetap berjalan. Ambil contoh misalnya kalau di wilayah selatan, Southern Region, kerja-kerja di tapak lapangan tetap berjalan. Walaupun kontraktor yang berkaitan mengalami kekurangan tenaga kerja.
For the record, the Sarawak Water Supply Grid Program was a long-term plan under the State Ministry of Utility aimed to improve the existing water supply system in the state. The state government has allocated 4 billion ringgit to implement 328 water supply throughout the state, and to date, 187 of the total projects at 625 million ringgit have been completed. The local tourism industry, particularly for Sibu, stands to benefit enormously from the proposed flight between Sibu to Singapore, following the establishment of the Singapore-Miri route by Scoot Tiger Air Private Limited. The second Assistant Minister for Public Health, Housing and Local Government, Michael Tiang, said this has been long awaited by not only the people of Sibu, but also those along the Rajang River and central region of Sarawak.
If we have a direct flight from Sibu to Singapore, Singapore-Sibu, that will open up the whole region basin, our central region in Sarawak, to international market, to international tourism. And we can bring in more tourists from the rest of the world to Sibu, directly from Singapore.
Though Sibu is lacking in terms of tourism spots, its main role, according to Tiang, is a gateway to the rest of the upstream and downstream of the Rajang River.
Rajang River is Sibu's biggest, greatest asset. It can lead to inland, central inland, a rural area. You can have Kapit, you can have all the upstream beautiful places. And it also leads to the downstream, like Sarike, you know. It's interesting in that sense because Sibu is the heart to the central region of Sarawak.
Apart from that, Tiang also disclosed that Sibu will be developed into a festival-centric town where big events, conferences and carnivals will take place. This will take some time as more facilities are currently being developed. Meanwhile, on the longevity and capacity of the Sibu-Singapore direct flight, Tiang is confident such matter will not be an issue.
I have a confidence that that flight will be able to go a long way. You know why? Because you just look at Sibu JB. The volume, the passengers of Sibu JB for all these years have been one of the busiest route in Sibu Airport. So I believe why people taking Sibu to JB, because they want to access to Singapore as well. So Singapore Sibu will not be a route that cannot sustain too long. I believe will be one of the hottest routes for Sibu. And Sibu and central region have a lot of businessmen. In fact, they have investment in Singapore. So I believe that route is sustainable.
Welcome back. A total of 3.5 million Sinovac vaccine recipients have not received their booster dose. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin stated that the recipients refused to take the booster dose unless they are inoculated with the Sinovac vaccine as well. As such, the Health Ministry (MOH) will provide options for them to choose which vaccine they want to receive as their booster dose.
Walaupun kita menggalakkan mereka dapat Pfizer dan AstraZeneca, saya nak umumkan bahawa 3.5 juta penerima vaksin primer Sinovac belum dapat dos penggalak lagi. 3.5 million, ramai ni. Dan mereka terdedah kepada gelombang OMICRON. Ya, sebab keberkesanan Sinovac tidaklah setinggi Pfizer. Walaupun berkesan, not as good or as effective as Pfizer. Sebab itu, saya telah buat keputusan bahawa walaupun Kementerian Kesihatan masih berpandangan dan pendirian bahawa kita lebih menggalakkan mereka menerima Pfizer ataupun AstraZeneca, but any booster is better than no booster.
Appointments will be published via the MySejahtera app, said Khairi, where recipients may choose either the Sinovac vaccine or its counterparts Pfizer and AstraZeneca.
Analoginya adalah mereka pergi ke negara musim sejuk, Kementerian Kesihatan sarankan dan bagi free kod, tapi mereka tak nak pakai kod, mereka nak pakai t-shirt, okeylah, t-shirt itu lebih baik daripada mereka tak pakai apa-apa.
Earlier today, Prime Minister's Special Envoy to China, Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing, alleged Khairi for having an inseparable relationship with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine manufacturer, while blaming Khairi over the rapid rise of the COVID-19 cases. Khairi also reminded the public who have yet to receive the booster doses to get it as soon as possible, as the primer vaccines, regardless of its type, will expire on March 1st, 2022.
KKM ingin memaklumkan bahawa semua penduduk berusia 60 tahun ke atas atau penerima dos lengkap Sinovac, ya, all senior citizens above 60 dan all penerima dos Sinovac untuk dos primer usia 18 tahun ke atas perlu mengambil suntikan dos penggalak. Kalau tidak, pada 1 hari bulan Mac, sijil vaksinasi kuning akan jadi putih. It will not be fully vaccinated anymore. Ya, jadi ada hanya bulan Februari saja untuk mengekalkan fully vaccinated status.
New COVID-19 cases under the Omicron variant is predicted to reach 15,000 soon, with today's cases exceeding 11,000. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has called upon the people, especially senior citizens, to be administered immediately with the vaccine, with 1 million senior citizens who have yet to register for the booster shot.
A total of 12.3 million adult individuals, or 52.8% of the group's population, have received COVID-19 booster dose injections as of February 6. Meanwhile, a total of 22.9 million adult individuals, or 97.9%, have completed their vaccination, while 99.2%, or 23.2 million individuals, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. As for adolescents aged 12 to 17, a total of 2,791,409 individuals, or 88.7% of the group, had completed their vaccination, while 2,869,275 individuals, or 91.2%, had received at least one dose of the vaccine. For daily vaccination, a total of 69,601 doses of vaccine were given as of February 6, covering 16,325 first dose, 759 second dose, and 52,517 booster doses, bringing the cumulative total number of vaccine administration through PICK to 63.9 million doses. Meanwhile, Mercy Malaysia medical expert and founder Tan Sri Dr. Jamilah Mahmud said the Omicron virus is inevitable, hence booster dose has proven effective to fight the virus.
Over 21,000 children aged 5 to 11 years old in Miri will be administered with the COVID-19 vaccine starting today. The program is implemented under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Kids, or PKIDS, which will involve a total of 5 vaccination centers, or PPVs.
The PPVs involve our health clinic KKUTC Miri, which will be inoculating 9,910 children, KK Tudan 7,379, KK Miri 1,405, KK Lambir 1,948, and KK Beluru, where 1,044 children will be inoculated there. The minister in charge of Miri Division Disaster Management Committee MDDMC, Dr. Sri Lee Kim Shin, said today's vaccination process had gone smoothly, thus requesting agencies such as Works Department to provide better facilities such as seats for parents and guardians awaiting their children outside of the KK's premises during the process. Lee also confirmed the vaccination schedule for each student have been arranged by the education district offices in Miri, Subis, and Marudi, but excludes those who are not registered under any school. Parents whose children who were absent from school are urged to contact the nearest health clinic to reschedule the vaccination appointment.
Individuals who tested positive for COVID-19 and are in categories 1 and 2 but not at high risk are not required to go to the COVID-19 Assessment Centre, CHC. Instead, Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said the individuals only need to do self-monitoring through the Health Assessment Tool, HAT, available on the MySejahtera application.
Noor Hisham, in a Facebook posting, said the individuals will receive SMS or calls from the automated voice recording service if they have not or do not carry out their daily self-monitoring. Meanwhile, individuals who are positive and in category 2B and above, whether at high risk or not, or have worsening symptoms, are required to go to the nearest CAC or hospital for further examination without waiting for a phone call from the centre. Adding to that, he said the isolation period for COVID-19 positive individuals who are asymptomatic and have completed vaccination is 7 days, while 10 days for symptomatic cases or those with either incomplete vaccination or have not been inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine. At the same time, he also reminded the public to continue to comply with the recommendations as well as health advice from the Health Ministry and practice TREES, which are trace, report, isolate, inform and seek, before attending social activities or get tested immediately if they have symptoms.
The government, through the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, proposes to establish Al-Quran and Farduain Kafar classes at the secondary school level. Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Dato' Ahmad Mazuk Ash'ari, said the measure is one of the efforts to further strengthen religious knowledge among secondary school students.
Adding further, he said the syllabus used for the study of the secondary school levels differ from the primary, so that it is parallel to the maturity level of the secondary school students. Additionally, the government, through JAKIM, provides a large allocation to ensure the sustainability of religious education at the primary school levels. In fact, Kafa is also gaining more recognition as there are many people who express their desire to obtain the certificate.
And now we're back. At least 10 people are confirmed dead in Madagascar after tropical cyclone BATSIRAI slammed its eastern coastline overnight, the country's disaster management agency said Sunday. Some died after their homes collapsed in the town of Ambalavao, about 460 kilometers south of the capital, Antananarivo. The initial death toll reported was 6. The agency said 47,888 people were displaced by the storm, which brought heavy rains and winds. It added that the water levels along the cyclone's path were expected to peak between Sunday and Monday, and flood warnings were issued. Following initial reports, up to 250,000 people are affected. Cyclone BATSIRAI made landfall near Mananjarai, around 530 kilometers from Antananarivo, around 8 p.m. local time on Saturday. Gusts reached speeds of 235 kilometers per hour, with high waves battering coastal areas, according to the country's meteorological agency. The cyclone was expected to move westwards towards the sea in the Mozambique Channel on Sunday and is forecast to head south by passing mainland Africa. A war may break within days or weeks between Russia and Ukraine if either side decided to sever their diplomatic ties. U.S. White House National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan believes Russia will make the first move.
We believe that there is a very distinct possibility that Vladimir Putin will order an attack on Ukraine. It could take a number of different forms. It could happen as soon as tomorrow, or it could take some weeks yet. He has put himself in a position with military deployments to be able to act aggressively against Ukraine at any time now, and we are working hard to rally our allies, to provide material support to the...
Russia had deployed about 70% of its forces to conduct a full-scale invasion on Ukraine, while also increasing the number from time to time. The number staggers at more than 100,000 troops near Ukraine's border, though Moscow has disclosed that it does not wish to invade unless some security demands are not met. This includes a promise that the North Atlantic Treaty Organizations, or NATO, will never admit Ukraine, which is unacceptable by both NATO and the United States.
We have to be prepared for the possibility of a contingency of a military action by Russia before the Olympics end, and we also have to be prepared for one after the Olympics end. So at this point, we're in the window, meaning that we can't just assume it's going to be a couple weeks off. Is that a possible scenario, or are there reasons to believe that it could happen in that time frame? Yes, but there are also reasons to believe that Russia, under the direction of President Putin, could take steps. I'm not going to make a prediction about what is going to unfold in the coming days. All I'm going to say is that we, the United States, under the direction of President Biden, are ready either way. We are ready if President Putin chooses to continue to engage in diplomacy, and we are...
Well, that concludes TVS Nightline. I'm Ruben Gomez. Anytime, anywhere.